All right, we're back. It's 1:45. Time for the last TED Talk before we go for lunch, which is also nice. Vera, you're up next, and you're going to talk about rewriting your life's design. I think a very interesting topic, and we were sparring because you plan to do it in Dutch, but we see some English people or international people in the room, so you're going to do it in English. Without further ado, the floor is yours, and good luck.
Thank you. What do you do when life knocks you down? How do you get back up again and regain the faith that better times will come? I've had my fair share of ups and downs in my life, and the most recent one taught me how to take back control. Ever since I was a little girl, I've had one big passion: being a writer. My love for language runs as a common thread through my life. It started when I taught myself to read at 5 years old. And for the rest of my elementary school career, I was always reading books in the back of the classroom and writing poems, short stories, and songs. It's safe to say that I am a bookworm. By the age of 8, I knew what I wanted with my life. I was going to be a writer. That was my biggest dream. Writing was my safe space from all the bullies in the outside world. However, because I'm also the middle child, I also had a burning desire to be the best. Failure was not an option. And when it came to writing, I believed that you had to be super talented, because if you weren't, there was no way you could make money, and no money equaled failure. And well, since I was only 8 years old, I figured I wasn't talented enough. So by the time I had to pick a career path, I played it safe. I created my new dream future. I convinced myself that my new dream was to be a teacher of English. I started teacher training here at Windesheim. And at first, it went pretty well. But if you don't walk the path that is meant for you, you can crash. It's like swimming against the current. You can do it, but it takes a lot more effort to keep your head above the water. While if you let the waves carry you, it gets so much easier. And so, I crashed. And I don't like crashing. Do you? It feels like the nightmare of failure. I had to give up on this dream of becoming a teacher of English. Now, at this time in my life, the ruling force was Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I quit my studies without knowing what was next. I broke up with my boyfriend. I failed my driving test again. I was out of a job, and to top it all off, my first seasonal depression kicked in. When you're down and out, it is hard to pick yourself back up again. When looking for a new study, I had to self-reflect. What are my true future dreams? What am I good at? What is my passion? There was only one answer for me: aligning with my origins. Writing. And I had the freedom to do so while studying communication. Rediscovering my passion for writing and meeting my now husband pulled me out of the darkness to which I never wanted to return ever again. I wouldn't be able to bear it. And so, I gave it my all. I studied, worked communication jobs on the side. I did the honors program, all while aiming for the highest results possible. Failure was not in my dictionary anymore. I was on the way up again. I found a job before I even graduated university. And with the encouragement of my honest classmates, I was able to get my master's degree. And my boyfriend and I found a nice place to call our home. Also, our relationship was getting stronger by the day. We designed our lives the way it was expected of us. So, after graduating in 2019, it was time to take the next logical step in our lives. I became pregnant. We were overjoyed. I was on top of the world. I had everything. But as you can tell from my story, life can be one hell of a roller coaster. Because at my job, they weren't so overjoyed. They decided not to extend my contract. I never expected this to happen. 4 days after my daughter was born, I was out of a job and I had to apply for social services. And yet, that wasn't the least of my concerns, because I was also recovering from giving birth and all the unexpected medical procedures. So by the time my seasonal depression had subsided and I felt strong enough to pick up my social life again, life came with another plot twist: the pandemic. How do you recover from all of that? I felt like the biggest failure. Sure, life with a newborn looks perfect from the outside, but to me, it felt far from it. I was crowded with doubt. Will I find a new job? How long will this pandemic last? Am I a good mother? Am I still even a good professional? Am I disappointing my husband? I felt like I had no control over my life. There was only one way forward. I had to learn to trust life again. If not for me, at least for my daughter. I had to allow the waves to carry me. And they brought me back to my place of comfort, writing. And this time, I had a major reason to pursue that dream: my daughter. Because what example would I be to tell her to follow her dreams when her own mother is too scared to do it herself? If you let the waves carry you and stop trying to beat them, there will be a shift. My boyfriend became my husband. I found a new job pretty quickly. And yes, starting a new full-time job during a pandemic while you're still breastfeeding your 4-month-old baby is challenging. Luckily, I found a way to cope with the highs and lows of life. Because I couldn't go outside anymore, I had to turn inwards. And so I did. Mindfulness and meditation helped me realize that up until then, I had life happen to me. Sure, I was the main character in my life, but I wasn't writing my own story. Everything I had done, everything I had achieved, was motivated by what others would think of me. And that was also the exact reason I never followed my dream of being a writer. That meant showing the real me, and being vulnerable. And what if I would fail and people would mock me? I contemplated that for a while. I put it on the scale and I asked myself, what is worth more? The possibility of people mocking me, or fulfilling my lifelong dream of being a writer? As you can tell from my face, the answer was obvious. I needed to follow my dream. For myself. For that little girl who was obsessed with books and always found comfort in writing. And that meant that I had to rewrite my life's design. Now, standing here, I can proudly say that I am in the process of writing my first book. And honestly, I don't think I've ever felt happier. Everything I was looking for was inside of me all along. It feels as though the only way is up. Oh, and funny detail, this year was the first winter in almost a decade in which I didn't have my seasonal depression. Will this high last forever? Maybe not. Life is a roller coaster, and it always surprises you with unexpected twists and turns. Because, like the seasons, life is ever changing. However, I believe that by staying true to yourself and your passion, you can make it through anything. Because often, those dark times, they teach us valuable life lessons. So start seeing them as such. And when you're in such a bad period in your life, just remember that this too shall pass. And you can only learn from this. And hold on to your dreams. Because you are the author of your own life.
A big applause. Well done. Is there anybody that has a question before we head over to lunch?
Yes? Well, my book is actually about spirituality because that's the thing that helped me follow my dreams the most. But I noticed that spirituality is often seen as woo-woo, and that people are like, oh, that's spiritual, that's not for me. So I try to make it as practical as possible so that everyone can benefit.
Anybody else? No? Beautiful indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Next up is lunch. Thanks everybody for attending this morning, and we'll continue here at 2:05. So that gives us a 1-hour break. Thanks.